Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As promised, I wanted to film a video on the things you should know or do before going into a no spend or low spend year, so here that video is. First of all, it's important to understand what a no spend or low spend year is, because some people think that there are specific rules to follow. Some people don't understand that you do still obviously spend money. So first of all, a no spend or low spend year means that you are still paying your bills. Like, you have to pay for your rent. Obviously, you're going to pay for groceries. You're not just spending no money whatsoever. Just wanted to clarify that. I know that's pretty obvious, but some people don't understand. The other thing about no spend or low spend is that you can make the rules. Now, of course, if you're doing a no spend or low spend, then there are things that you want to try and restrict in your life. You want to create a budget in spending for unnecessary things or spending too much on going out to eat. You can create your own rules though. So for me, as I said, in my experience, and even before I started, there were several things that I knew I wanted to spend money on, and I knew I was okay with spending money on those things. So for example, that was travel, other experiences. I was okay with spending money on going out to eat because I don't go out to eat very often anyway. There are certain things in people's lives that they want to spend money on, and that is completely okay. You can still do a no spend or low spend year and follow your own path. Going along with that, my next tip is to create a plan. So that's going to be making your own rules. And if you go back to my initial video that I filmed in 2019, you can see where I break down the things that I do not want to spend money on, that I am not allowing myself to spend money on, and then breaking down what I want to spend in the other areas of my life. I think it's important to do something similar to this so that you can create your own boundaries and your own set of rules to follow for the no spend year. You can get clear on them. You can put them in front of you and keep them in mind throughout the year, because it may come up where you forget. So it is important to get clear on a plan for yourself. And something to consider before doing this is to ask if this is the right timing for you to do it. I mentioned in my video previously that 2020 was a good year for me to do it, not only because of the pandemic, which I had no clue would happen. However, it was also a good year for me to do it because I had everything really that I needed. For example, 2019 probably wouldn't have been the best year for me to try and do a no spend or low spend year, because I moved into my own apartment on my own and I had no furniture aside from my bed and, like a dresser. So I still needed to purchase the home decor, a living room table, dining room table, couch, etc. And so committing to a no spend year while trying to do a move probably wouldn't have worked out. Now, you still can do a no or low spend year if you're moving, but of course you just would create that budget, and you can budget for that furniture and then decide what it is that you don't want to spend money on. But if you're going into a year where you're expecting to have to spend a lot of money, then it may not be the best time for you to do that. However, you still can try a low spend year in those areas, like I said. You could also do a few no spend months throughout the year. Honestly, I think no spend months are kind of pointless, just depending on how you are as a person. So maybe you plan to do a no spend March, but then you find all these things that you want to purchase, so then you purchase them all in April and end up spending more money anyway. So it may not work out for you depending on the situation, but it would be good for something like, no going out to eat for the month of March, because that's not something that you would typically make up for later, or hopefully not. I think no spend months can be helpful, but a whole year is obviously a better thing to go with. The next thing is to consider your problem areas, including problem stores. The best way to do this is go through your spending and track where your money went. And if you see that you're spending too much money at Target, or you're spending too much money on Amazon or on workout clothes, whatever it is, then you need to try and eliminate that from your life. So if your problem area is Target, you want to avoid going to Target throughout the year and make a plan for that. If your problem area is Amazon, 100% get rid of your Amazon Prime, maybe block the website if you absolutely need to. Same with any other, like if you're spending too much on workout clothes, block those websites. unfollow those things on social media so that you don't see them and you're not tempted. So it is important to get clear on your weaknesses and your temptations, because it will make it a lot more difficult to get through that. The good thing though is it's a huge practice of willpower and discipline if you end up going to those stores or the websites. So that's also a positive. Another thing is that this challenge may not be for everybody. And I mentioned this before, but I went into this challenge exactly as that. This was a challenge to me. This was not me doing this from a place of not enoughness. This was me doing it from a place of abundance. And I knew that I had enough going into this. I didn't need more things. And so my mind was not in a scarcity mindset. On social media and just in the financial blogging community, I've seen a lot of people say bad things about no spend months or no spend years. And I just think that's unnecessary. Some people have a different perspective of this. They can see no spending as a burden or a negative thing, but I never saw it that way. So if you are the type of person who would struggle with something like this and get into a really negative mind space, especially around money, obviously, then this probably isn't best for you. If you're seeing this as a challenge and something you want to overcome and get through so that at the end of it, you reach your other financial goals and you feel good about yourself, then this is for you. It truly is all about perspective and mindset. I am naturally somebody who prefers to have more of an optimistic and positive mindset. I've also really been working on my money mindset, speaking of, so it's not like I was going through this thinking I can't afford that or I can't purchase that. It was more so that is not my priority right now, and I am choosing not to spend money on that. A big thing before starting is determining your why. I know that's cliche. I know that's what everybody says when it comes to all goals or any sort of challenge that you're going after. But your why is really important, and it's very helpful to get clear on it and then to write it down. So for me, my why was obviously so that I could be more minimalist and have a more simple lifestyle, and also so that I could prioritize my debt and my saving and just do something that I'm committed to. Defining your why for anything is a huge step, and definitely something you should do before going into this, because that will help you to actually follow through and stay committed. And then you can remind yourself of your why whenever you experience something that relates to the no spend year. So if you're at the store and you really want to buy something, you can refer back to your why and make sure it's a big why so that you're actually going to listen to that and not the little devil on your shoulder telling you to just purchase it. It's very helpful to tell people in your life that you're doing this. Obviously, I have been documenting my journey, which is very helpful because all of you hold me accountable. And, at the end of the day, people on the internet probably don't care what I'm doing. They don't care if I spend money on unnecessary things. But that was just a mental thing for me. Like, you guys are holding me accountable. My followers are holding me accountable. I also told, of course, my boyfriend and my sister and important people in my life that I'm around the most, so that they don't expect me to do crazy things with my money this year. This is also good for friends in your life. Honestly, I don't have many friends, and that's fine with me because it is a big money saver, to be honest. But if you're used to going out with your friends a lot or doing expensive things with them, then I would suggest telling them that you may be around less this year. And you don't have to go into detail if you don't want to. Maybe you have a lot of debt and that's why you're doing this, or you are just living paycheck to paycheck or something and you don't want to live that lifestyle anymore. You don't have to tell them that. You can just say, I have financial goals in my life, so right now I am not going to be able to do that. Or I am choosing not to do that right now because I have these other financial goals. And who knows, sometimes people in your life will ask you about those goals and you guys can talk about that and do this as a team or hold each other accountable. If you're on social media or on YouTube quite frequently, considering you're watching this, you probably are on YouTube at least enough to find videos related to this. And I think that's really helpful to find people doing the same thing or who have done the same thing. So I know when I started this, I started following the hashtag on Instagram, no spend year. So hashtag no spend year or hashtag low spend year. And it was pretty inspiring to see other people doing this. It was also very helpful for me to watch people on YouTube that have done this before and to see the benefits that they experienced. And there were only a few people, honestly, that I could find. So I'm glad that I have this platform and that I created a video to share my experience, because I absolutely loved it and would recommend for everybody to try this. So it was nice to find a few people to relate to in regards to that. And being able to find people that at the end of their journey, they kind of wanted to continue this, kind of how I am. You know, I still want to spend less money and purchase more things, and your perspective completely shifts, and it's nice to go through that after seeing what they went through and see the same thing, if that makes sense. So I will link a couple of people down below that I watched. There's honestly not that many videos out there of people going through this, because it is a difficult thing to go through. And it's not something that you document every single month, to be honest. I mean, you can, of course. I was documenting monthly, but not talking too much about my no spend year. So it is nice to find the people on Instagram or on Twitter who are doing the same thing and sharing their journey. And it also may be a good thing for you to stop watching or following people who are high spenders, or if there is somebody who has a high influence in your life and makes you want to buy things, stop following them, because it doesn't help you, I promise. Before you go into this, I suggest you look for free alternatives to everything that you enjoy doing. As you go through the year, you definitely will find different options for things. A big thing for me is books. So I love books, and if I could buy all the personal development books and even some fiction books, I would. However, because I was doing the no spend year, I said that I wouldn't be buying books. But I went on so many walks this year that I discovered all these free libraries in my city, and I was able to get dozens of free books, and then I would return them or put my own book there if I wanted to keep one, and that really worked well for me. I was excited to find that, and I've known of those before, but now that I was forced to actually go to those, I was able to do that. And obviously there's just a public library otherwise if you wanted a different option. Oftentimes you can even find free events. A lot of events were canceled in 2020, but otherwise you could find free things to do. Me and my boyfriend really enjoy going on picnics and walks and just walking around at stores. We played pool table at my apartment. There's a lot of options, and you start to really appreciate the simple things in life on this journey anyway, so it's nice to find those free alternatives and enjoy them. You'll even find free things or things that you can borrow. There's tons of Facebook groups. If you look on Facebook Marketplace, you can find free things. You can ask your family, your friends, and then you can return it to them. And then if you absolutely need it, you can ask for it for Christmas or your birthday, or wait until next year and purchase it. The final thing is to expect things to come up, because that's just life. And you know, you may have to deal with an emergency, or you may have to deal with something minor, but you want to replace it or buy something because of it. Now, that's okay. Like I said in my 1 year update, my table broke, so I didn't want to buy a new table, and it literally wouldn't stand anymore. And obviously I want my space to be nice, so I had to purchase some Gorilla Glue. I know that's not a huge deal, but technically it was breaking a no spend rule. And I did that. That just comes up and I was able to fix it. It's no big deal. So what I'm basically saying is that things will come up, and just know that you'll make the decision then, and you'll determine if it's a priority or not. Same thing with my Fitbit bands. I told you they broke and I want to wear it, so I'm not gonna not purchase a $5 Fitbit band. That's something important to me. I want to have it on, and so I made the purchase, and I just made the decision when it happened. I didn't expect for it to break, but it did. So yeah, not everything's gonna go perfect in your no spend year, obviously, but just know that you will figure it out once that happens. Those are my tips for going into a no spend or low spend year. Please comment down below if you are trying this out. I promise you, it is worth it, and it will change your life. It is not the easiest thing in the world, but it's really not that difficult. And if you can get through it, I promise you, you just feel like a different person. And I can honestly say I'm so proud of myself for doing it. I know I keep saying that, but I just, looking at the numbers and seeing the progress that I made, I am very proud of going through that and committing to it. It feels really good, and it will be worth it if you do the same. If you have any questions about no spend or low spend, please feel free to comment those down below. And if you are looking for a financial coach and you want me to hold you accountable on your no spend journey and your debt-free journey, then check out the link below for that as well. But if you do decide to try this out and commit to it, I wish you the best of luck. Please keep me updated throughout the year, or at least when the year ends. I would love to hear it. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video, and Happy New Year.